Indiana Championships 2024 is coming. It is this weekend. Uh, ton of events, ton of great solvers. Luke Garrett, Luke Greiser, Brian Johnson. We've got a continuation of the Luke v. Luke rivalry, which only seems to grow as every competition we see them competing together in happens. Just seeing them, in the finals of a lot of events in 3x3, it's going to be pretty likely. I know we could have an upset moment. We could have a Jeremy moment where there's just suddenly like someone you don't expect in the final, competing. But I think it's going to be a Luke v. Luke thing. How do you think this is going to develop in Indiana on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, look, Luke v. Luke is a classic at this point, right? Like, you have like these Midwest competitions. These guys, they live close together. Their names are Luke, right? Like, they literally have the same name, and not just that, they have the same initial also. So you can't even just say Luke G versus Luke G. It's and to boot, they're just both really, really awesome competitors. Kind of showing off like different styles too, right? We talk about it all the time. Luke Greiser is this guy who's like, his mental is absurd. His work ethic is ridiculous. And he's like focusing on 3x3 only. Then we have I almost view him as kind of like the man of the people, Luke Garrett, who's like doing all the events. He's like, yeah, 2x2, your favorite event, one of my favorite events too. I'm just insanely good at it. It's going to be really exciting. If you, at least like the last 3 competitions, right? We got Swoop and Swap Oxford. Then before that we had, Great Lakes Championships, and then the North American Championships. If we go back those 3 competitions, Luke Greiser has the advantage. Not something I would have predicted going into this year. We'll see if Garrett can kind of bust that and draw the tables even.
Yeah, it's a good example of, there's the people that look at statistics and are the more casual statistic nerd fans, and there's the people that understand the meta. And the people that understand the meta is that Greiser might not have, the 503 like Garrett does. But when it comes to those clutch moments, it just seems like Greiser finds a way to make it happen. And if you've been watching for the last few years, I mean, you've seen that play out. And what's so exciting is that these guys again. You've probably heard me say it across many episodes, is that they both got to be focused on Worlds coming up in July. So this is big time. This is Indiana Champs, but this is just another repetition of a big clutch moment that's going to lead into the biggest clutch moments, because these guys aren't going anywhere. They're going to continue to be facing each other at high level competitions, throughout the next, hopefully, many years.
Who do you guys got between Luke versus Luke here? Or do you have someone else who could potentially upset?
Yeah, so I'm picking Garrett. He needs a win back. I would love to see Luke versus Luke rivalry go like 2-2, right? That would just be epic. It is his home turf. It is yes. Indiana Championship. He is from Indiana. Granted, this competition is basically happening in Kentucky because it's just like, it's like on like one side of the Ohio River. And if it was like a 2 miles the other way, it would just be in Kentucky. You could call it Kentucky Championship. But yeah, I'm going to pick Garrett on this one.
I don't know, man. I would be scared to pick anyone other than Greiser because he'll podium on a high level and he'll call you out. So, I think come to these clutch moments, I want to pick Greiser, but I think really the thing I'm most excited about is seeing how the day plays out, is because I think Luke Greiser is going to be most focused on 3x3 finals, as he most usually is, and Luke Garrett has a lot going on that weekend. It's his home state championship, so yes, he is worried about winning 3x3, I'm sure, but also he's worried about having a great weekend. He's got a lot of events to defend too, more than just 3x3, and I think there's a couple other special events going on this weekend too that might consume his time and mental.
One name you should watch out for in that competition, Brian Johnson. Now, we don't talk about him nearly as much because he lives, I think, in Wisconsin, which is, quite a bit further away than other competitions. But man, dude, Brian Johnson is definitely legit. We saw him get a 4 at North American All-Stars also. He's also just like a really swell guy. He was like just really fun to talk to, and an extremely good all-around competitor. So who knows? He might have his work cut out for him, Luke Garrett, in that special event.
Brian Johnson this isn't a nobody we're talking about here. This is one of the best in the country and one of the best in the world. But I think there's a distinct possibility you could see Brian Johnson potentially winning 3x3 final easily. If Garrett or Greiser has an off day, like We saw like Garrett can have an off day. That's what Swoopin' and Solve in Oxford was. It was kind of an off day for him that Greiser exploited. If Brian is really on, this man can do some real damage. This man could go around destroying legacies and bringing his name into conversations we weren't prepared to have. We really need to consider that. Now, in general, if you ask me who I think is going to win, I'm going to say Luke Garrett, because he's the best. He's the best of the field. Luke Garrett is probably going to dominate and win most of these events. If we see Brian Johnson make something really big happen on Sunday, the Happy Feet studios, the Speedcubing TV studios, I should say, are going to be bussin'.
Just watch Brian Johnson, right? He's just a great competitor, just all around. And not just in 3x3. You should watch him in a lot of events because he has a good chance to steal away some of these podiums that you might think that some of these are just kind of locks, right? 2x2, like, okay, well, yeah, Luke Garrett will almost certainly podium in that. Will he win? We got Sujin Feista here also. And, with those two combined, you don't know. Like, Garrett might end up getting third. 2x2, random, scramble-based event, so anything can kind of happen. That's why you got to tune in. You got to tune in to Speedcubing TV this weekend.
This weekend, we're going to be streaming it. It's going to be great. Again, Dylan Miller, Michael Rosenkrantz, Luke Garrett, Luke Greiser, Speedcubing TV, must-see entertainment.